Hi, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to start a series of mini entrees that we've turned into appetizers. I'll be making fried chicken and waffles, miniature, taco salad, miniature, that's today's dish, tiny fruit cobblers, little turkey, meatloaf, and mashed potato bites, that's a fun one, and a couple of other things. So there's a trend right now to make appetizer versions and portions of larger entrees, and I love it because they look so cute. I just want to have a dinner party where we all eat appetizers that are mock-ups of full-size meals. Anyway, thanks for joining me. This is a really simple dish to make, and I think it's so cute as a side dish with taco soup, tortilla soup, Mexican chicken, enchiladas, anything really that's Mexican food, and of course a margarita. I wish I had a margarita here. Where's my margarita? Anyway, let's get started. This is a really fun dish to do with the kids too. Tiny taco salads. They look just like the real thing, just shrunken. So, first we're going to start with the ingredients. Let me tell you what I've got here. I've got sour cream in a piping bag. One of the last flourishes we'll put on the taco salads is just a little dollop of sour cream. We don't want it to overpower the dish, but for exactness, this is the easiest way to get it right. I have about a half cup of chopped chicken breast. I had it pre-cooked and just am using some leftovers. I've seasoned the chicken with a little bit of cumin, a little bit of chili powder, which is completely optional, and a dash of salt. Shake it up, chop it up really nice and small. It's ready to go. If you don't have meat, if you don't like meat, if you don't eat meat, then we have an alternative here. You can add this with the chicken or just use it on its own. I'll be using it on its own to make a vegetarian version of the taco salad. It's black beans and corn, which I also made the other night. They're leftovers. But it's a mix of black beans and corn, just sauteed in a little butter. Let, heat up, get real nice and let the flavors meld together, and then I added a little bit of garlic, salt, pepper, and cilantro at the end, just to really make it pop. It was great on the side of whatever we had it with. Fish tacos. Anyway, I also have some vegetables here. Cilantro. Fresh cilantro is so key. You can also use dill. It's really cute. And, chives. Cut up the chives really small. It'll also be great on a tiny little baked potato. But today we're using cilantro because it's in my fridge and it's going bad. And it goes really well with Mexican food. Head of lettuce. You could also use a bag of shredded iceberg lettuce. It's already the perfect size and it would be really easy to put on top of these taco salads. Nice big tomato. You could get really fancy and use little, baby tomatoes and chop them up real small, but I'm using what I have. Finally, cheese. Cheese is the best ingredient almost to any dish that I can think of, and it's no exception here. You could get a little more authentic and use queso asadero, but I'm going to use mild cheddar because it's what I have and because I love cheddar cheese. It's what I put on my nachos, it's what I put on my tacos, and it's an American version of a Mexican classic. Let's start with the taco shells. I have Tostitos scoops. You've seen them in the chip aisle. They come in a big bag. I picked out the best of the best. Some of them aren't so great. They're flat or they're broken. These are 7 full scoops. We're going to go in layers here. Now, this is completely up to you. You can go in any order that you like. I'm going to go with what I would consider a classic taco salad layering scheme. You do what you want. I'll make half of them vegetarian, half of them with chicken, and that's our first layer. So I'll start by just spooning a tiny, tiny bit of chicken into the bottom of these. I would say maybe 4 small 1/4-inch square chunks. You really don't want to fill these up too much to start with because we have so many other ingredients to add. And you don't want this to be an awkward mouthful, just enough to get a little flavor of everything we're putting in it. These would be great to make with your kids because there's no cooking involved. If you're using leftover chicken and leftover vegetables or something from your pantry that you want to just use up, you don't really have to heat anything on the stove. There's not a lot of knife work involved. You can do the vegetables and let them do the assembly work. That's really the fun part anyway. That's what they'll want to do. I'm going to slice up next some lettuce and some tomato. Now my favorite order is lettuce, then a little tomato. You can do, again, whatever you want. I'm going to use my good knife, which migrated over there, just to slice up the lettuce as thin as possible. Just really julienne it. You need a really good knife for this, otherwise you'll just tear the lettuce and it will be obnoxious for you and not so pleasing to the eye. I'm going to chop it up really small, really thin. You just want a little sprinkling on each taco salad. None of these ingredients should really take over as far as taste goes. You just want to have a little hint of each in every bite. I'll put a little of that in each taco shell. Oh, that's so pretty. The lettuce also balances out the saltiness of the meat or the beans and the chips. It's a little bit of a cool, fresh aspect to a bite that's already full of really hearty, savory items. Okay, and next, of course, the tomato. You're going to want to do the same thing with the tomato. We're going to get these chunks as small as we can. The whole fun part about making miniature food items is making them as much to scale as possible. So these need to be really tiny little chunks of tomato. And if you have a good knife, it shouldn't be a problem. Last time I made these, I was using a dull knife and I just had torn little chunks of tomatoes all over the place and it did not look good. So this time we're having a little bit more luck. This is the Cutco knife that I won at my family Christmas white elephant party. I stole it from my Aunt Deborah, and I was the second stealer, so she couldn't take it back and nobody could get it from me. I felt bad, but I really, really, really love the knife. It's actually my only good knife. I love it. Thanks, Aunt Deborah. Appreciate it. She took it well. She was a good sport. Alright, so we've got tomato on top, and I know you really can't see the detail from where you are, but the red and the green sitting on top of that chip just makes the most beautiful contrast, and wait till we add the sour cream and the cheese. It's just going to be so cute. Speaking of which, sour cream. Now you could do cheese and then sour cream, it doesn't really matter, especially here. I like sour cream, then gives the cheese something to stick onto. So I'm just going to pipe, I would say the equivalent of about a penny's worth of sour cream on top of each of these tiny taco salads. Oh, that's perfect. Maybe even a dime. Use your discretion. If you like sour cream, use a little more. If you don't like it, leave it off altogether, or, use just a tiny, tiny bit. I really like it, but I'm just going to go with a regular average amount. I'm not going to overdo it. It's not exactly low fat. You can use low fat. Alright, finally, the best part, the cheese. Now, you might want to take these individually and do them if you don't want to get cheese all over your serving plate. That's what I'll do, because this black serving plate just shows every little bit of food that doesn't end up on the bite itself. The cheese is a little bit hard to control the amount of, because you just, want a little bit of it, but it comes in these long shreds in the bag, so I don't mind a little extra cheese, but if you want to spend a little more time on this part to control the amount, go ahead. And you can leave the cheese off. You could use authentic Mexican cheese. I, like I said, prefer cheddar because it has a little bit of a bite and a saltiness that I think Mexican cheese lacks. And I like that. I'm all American, what can I say? Finally, the prettiest part. You might not like cilantro, and if you don't like it, I don't blame you. I used to hate it. My mom would put it in everything, it seemed like, and I would give her a hard time and complain and ask her to leave it out, and she wisely forced me to try it over and over and over again. Now I really like it. It's not, my favorite ingredient. I don't just snack on it when I'm hanging out, but on Mexican food and on really authentic Mexican food in particular, it really is the key ingredient, I feel like, to getting all of the flavors to meld together in a really beautiful way. Alright, again, I'm going to just chop the cilantro really, really small. And this is the wrong kind of knife to use for this, I realize that. So pardon my poor knife skills, but I'm using a serrated steak knife, sort of. But it's doing the job, because you really do want these tiny, and they don't need to look pretty, they're just garnish. I'm just going to sprinkle a tiny bit on top of each taco salad. Oh, and it just looks amazing. Now this is really quick. Granted, I'm only doing 8 of them, but if you had help, you could do this just as quickly and do a couple dozen of them. That's all you really need for a dinner party or something like that. I'm just cooking for 2 tonight, so I don't really need that many. If we made a dozen, we would eat a dozen, but we don't need to. So I'm just making 7 or 8 to go with some tortilla soup that I have going on the stove. Okay. Oh, they're so cute. The plate needs a little cleanup, but I wanted to show you the quick and easy assembly method, and you can clean up your plate the way you like to clean up your plate. I don't know if you can see them, but there they are. They're just tiny and perfect, and I think I see the one that I need to taste. I should test it, right? This one has beans and corn. Kind of healthy, right? Cheers! So good. I feel like I'm in Mexico, or at least San Antonio, which is where I really am. The only thing that's missing is a margarita, and since it's 6:30, I think I better go make myself one. Thanks for joining me. I hope you have a good time making this for a party, or just for yourself. Maybe make it with your kids, make it for your husband or your boyfriend. Enjoy. It's everything you ever wanted in a taco salad in a single bite, and it's really cute. Bye. See you next time.